Hi everyone, I'm back. For anyone who was tuning in, hello. The first time, my deepest apologies. I had the time all mixed up. But you know what? It's okay. I was just so excited to talk to you that I showed up an hour early. Okay. All silliness aside, excuse me, I'm going to get our girl Jamie right in here. So, chat. Alrighty. Thank you so much for coming. Hi!
Hello.
You look so beautiful
So
as
do
always.
you. So do you. Your eyes
Thank
are like,
you.
wow.
Oh, thank you. I love those turquoise earrings.
Thank you.
So gorgeous. So let's introduce ourselves before we get started.
Yes.
My name is Ashley Braxton. I am part of the CoEdition team. I'm the social media manager and content creator manager. And I'm here to talk to you today with the lovely Jamie.
Yes. Hi, I'm Jamie Finkenthal, and I work in, I do a lot of content work, and then I work in customer service at CoEdition.
Yes, we're so happy to have you on the team. You are
Me
such a
too.
joy and a delight. Um, okay, I think that we should just jump right in here.
Let's do it.
So today we are talking about the term plus size.
Yes.
Now, we've come to find that this is a very sensitive topic and people have a lot of feelings on it. It was really funny. When I was live like an hour ago, someone commented, "What's the tea?" And I was like, "Oh man, the tea is that I just got here too early." But the real tea is that everyone has a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to acknowledge that Jamie and I are just two curvy gals. We are just here to have this conversation with you, to start a dialogue, because I think there's some issues in the fashion industry that need to come to light, and that's what we're here to do. We're just like your friend. We're having a chat. So I just want to have everyone be sure that they stay kind and just make sure that like your comments, if it gets heated or whatever, just stay kind and just remember that we're all here. We are supporting you. We want to make sure that we are doing something that's going to benefit us curvy gals, us plus size gals, whatever we decide we want to call it.
Yes.
So,
and we only know from our experience. So just you and me.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
On that note, we told them that we work for CoEdition, but why don't we also tell them like what we do, what else we do? Because we are in the plus size community besides CoEdition, right? So Jamie, Jamie's a plus size model.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a plus size model based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I've been doing that for about 4 years. So it's my favorite. It's so fun.
Awesome. So you have a lot of experience with brands. You've been you are a fit model. You do a lot of camera work. Hello, Justine. So she's very familiar. You're very familiar with the word plus size. Yes. I am also a model. I'm based in New York. I used to model in Minnesota. I'm now in New York. I am also plus size. So that is something we can get to later in terms of, I think that was a topic we could also talk about, like being models and like calling ourselves plus size models. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's get started. Yesterday, I posted a couple of polls on our Instagram Live, and they got so many answers and so much feedback. I was not anticipating that at all. I am overwhelmed with the amount of answers. I'm like literally shook. I have been keeping track of it since I put up yesterday, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like people really have feelings about this. So the very first question that I asked was, how do you feel about describing yourself as plus size? And I put a positive and a negative.
Mhm.
Now, to preface this, I did have someone reach out to me in the DMs and was not appreciative that I didn't include an option for neutrality, which is, we can also talk about that too. But in terms of what I did put up, we had that 650 people felt positive about being described or using the word plus size to describe their body. And we had 750 people say negative. And I was blown away by that, to be honest. Because personally, I'll just say how I feel about it. I think I'm kind of neutral about it, to be honest. So to feel to see that so many people felt negative, I kind of was like, oh, like that was a bit of a shock to me, to be honest.
Me too, because I'm less neutral. I like being part of a plus community. I like having a community, and I like that the company that I'm in. I like that there's such diversity in sizes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I guess it's just such a term that I've used for so long. Like I don't really think twice about it. I did come across someone once in my life who someone had described her as plus size and she got offended, and then it like hurt my feelings that she was offended, and I was like, why is this hurting my feelings? So that was like very interesting. But anyway, we can touch base on that again. There's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so that was the first question. How do you feel about describing yourself as plus size? 650 positive, 750 negative. The second question I asked was, do you prefer the term curvy? And 916 people said yes, and 582 said no. So a little bit more people, like a few more, prefer the term curvy. And then the very last question that I asked was, or the very last poll that I did was, do you wish brands would drop the term plus size when describing extended sizing? Over 1,000 said yes.
Yes.
1,080 said yes, and 377 said no.
Wow.
That's a huge difference. So that also blew my mind. I can see both sides of it, and we'll talk about that, but I'm just giving you the facts here first. And then the very last thing that I asked was, I asked them other terms you prefer instead of plus size. And we got so many answers.
Yes.
So we got answers based on just like body type. Like if you were to look at someone, how you would describe them. And then we got answers based on clothing. So like in terms of brands. So we will talk about those on separate things because I do think that they are separate.
I agree.
Okay. So let's go back to, do you prefer the term curvy? Some people, so we did have more people that described it as curvy. And I will say that when I've done captions for Instagram in the post, I have said, hey, curvy gals, or I will talk to them. I will call them curvy. And people have said, we really like that you say curvy over plus size. Now, I've also gotten feedback in the answers of this poll saying that, well, not all plus size people have curves. And so I'm thinking that when someone is described as curvy, they are thinking about the quintessential hourglass shape. But that's not necessarily it anymore. I mean, I will admit that plus size models, they tend, for a long time, they only really hired the hourglass shape, but I feel like people are breaking out of that norm.
I agree.
And I really appreciate that.
Me too.
Because, you know, not everyone has an hourglass shape. Not everyone is blessed with having what they would consider perfect curves, a small waist, a large bust, a nice booty. Not everyone's like that. I'm not like that.
We have pear-shaped, apple, different fruits, you know?
Exactly. It's like, yeah. So that made a lot of sense to me, that not everyone would feel like they would want to be described as curvy because they don't view themselves like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think plus is a wider range in my mind. Now, it's just my opinion and like kind of what I think of. But yeah, I think plus to me has a wider range of sizes. I think of the whole plus community. So all curvy women's, all.
That's okay. Oh, I think I got you back. I got you back. Okay. Yes, I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. There's a lot here, so I just want to go through it step by step, and then in the end we can like really dig deep. The next one was, do you wish brands would drop the term plus size when describing extended sizes? And that's the one that we had over 1,000 that said yes. So, you know, what are your thoughts on that, for like just right off the base?
I think we're so used to hearing plus size. Like if we go into a big box store or, you know, a department store, we say, where's the plus size department? You know, if we're looking for the plus size department. But I think if you talk to someone who's working there and you say, where's the extended sizes? I think it won't compute as fast as plus size. So we're so used to that. I don't necessarily think that, I think extended sizes is a more positive term. I do than plus size. And I would love to change that. I mean, I think that would be awesome. What about you?
I 100% had that experience where I've gone into a store. It was a store that like recently started carrying plus size or extended sizes. And I was at a mall in Utah and I went in and I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see this stuff. I went in, I was like, where are your extended sizes? And they were like, our what? I was like, your larger sizes. And they're like, oh, we don't carry them in store. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, no, you can't do that to people. Tell them you can and then not carry them.
I find that a lot in stores, even, well, I don't want to mention any names of stores, but that's happened to me quite a few times where or they're like, there's the plus section, and it literally is one rack.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool.
I will say that it affected me, the term plus size affected me a lot greater when I was younger. Now, I think this is where the body positivity movement, which is a whole other, you know, ball game we can get into at a different chat, has helped me, because before that came around, honestly, like I was very insecure and I had a hard time with the fact that I couldn't shop at all the other stores that my friends were shopping at because I couldn't fit into their largest size. But now there are a few things that a couple of our followers brought up that are really, really, that make a lot of sense in terms of plus size and why we may need it. But let's keep going.
Okay.
So let's start off with the whole term plus size in regards to body image, because we had a lot of people answer in just terms of body image. Do we, you know, because you think about it in like, I think about like, when do I use the term plus size for myself? I'm like, okay, well, I use it for my job. I use it for modeling. I'm like, I guess I would use it like if I was on a dating website, like to describe myself.
Right. Yes.
But in terms of just like every day, like I don't think of myself as any different than anyone else. And I think that's the way that it should be. because we're all human, and one of our followers said something that was like, so it just like struck me. I'm like, yes. But anyway, here's a couple of their answers that I just, we had so many that I just went through and grabbed the ones that stuck out to me. And I'm not going to name any names, so don't worry about that. It's all anonymous. So in regards to plus size in terms of body image, these are the comments that were said. Does there have to be a term? There should be no term. The term should be curvy. The term should be mid-sized, like a car. I laughed at that. Someone commented that it should be bodacious, voluptuous, hot damn. And I was like, okay. And then someone said, I simply prefer fat because it seems like all other words or phrases are trying to avoid it. And then another one said, fat when referring to people, no special term referring to clothing. And then the last one that I'm going to read that I got a ton of said that we should be described as thick.
Mm-hmm. I like
thick. People like that one. They like,
I like that
thick.
one.
And they spelled it like different ways. I think there's like THICC, like a real cool. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about this. I want to go back to the word fat.
Mm-hmm.
To the comment that the woman said, fat when referring to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I had someone reach out to me about this that seemed like they were not happy with the fact that we were putting a positive or negative turn on the word plus size. And I apologize for that. I know neutrality is like definitely a thing that I think we should all work towards, because we shouldn't let words or descriptors, you know, manage our lives or how we feel about ourselves. That in a perfect world would be everyone, but not everyone's there yet. Everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different path. And I think for most people either feel a negative or they feel a positive or / neutral about the word. She said, of course, I'm going to keep it 100% anonymous, but I'm bringing this up in just for the sake of conversation and talking about it. She said that she felt like anyone who was affected negatively by the term plus size or by the term fat was fatphobic. And I will say I 100% disagree with that.
I will say the same thing.
Coming from my opinion, I, to be honest, still struggle with the word fat. I don't use it to describe anyone. I don't know. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. And I don't know if it was just, you know, from being bullied as a kid or feeling out of place or feeling less than because other people made me feel that way. But it's just a term that I just don't use. And I know that there
has had a negative connotation for a while.
For a long while.
So it is hard for some people to switch that.
Absolutely.
And I also don't think it's that black and white. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think that, you know, someone is saying fat is not a good feeling word. I agree. I mean, for me, some people, if you have been on your body positive journey for some time and you've reached the level of not having that word affect you, oh my goodness, more power to you. I applaud you. That is fabulous. But not everyone is there.
Yeah. And I'm okay. I don't know. I'm more okay with me being like, oh, my belly, I'm really fat today, you know. But if someone else calls me that, I don't like that personally. It's just not. I'm not, maybe I'm not there yet. You know what I mean?
Right. I think like the way we describe ourselves in like the comfort of our own homes is, you know, completely different how we would maybe talk to our peers or our friends or our coworkers or whatever. But I feel like replacing the word plus size with fat, I feel like that just would never be able to happen. There's just so much ingrained hate from that word. And the body positivity movement is so new.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about like the older demographic that we have as customers that who may not be on social media, who may not be a part, like a strong part of the body positive movement or the fat neutrality movement. They have that with them longer than I would or someone in their 20s would. And that's really hard to get past.
That's so funny you say that, because I was talking to my grandma the other day, and it's so ingrained in her, like, oh, I have to, she still talks about how she needs to lose weight and things like that. And I'm like, I think you look perfect. Like, you're beautiful, you know, but it's still so ingrained in her. And yeah,
Right.
to change that for someone like my grandma, I think that would take a really long time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we should definitely keep working towards it because, for the generations below us, like for my daughters and my sons, when I have kids eventually one day, like I want it to be a different world for them. I don't want them to be growing up being bullied because of their body. Like, oh my gosh, like you're a child, like you're still growing. So if we can work on that now and change the narrative for future generations, I think that's really important. But what do we do in the meantime?
That's, I think we are making a lot of progress in our community. I mean, look where we were to where we are now. Like we are, like we were talking about, even with models, like it used to just be if there was a curvy model that they were, a lower size and on the spectrum, they were a lower size. And, but now we're having so many different body types that are models that we're seeing ourselves in these campaigns. It's not just one type of woman. It's
Right.
every type of woman, and
Right.
there's diversity. And I do think we have made progress. We still have a ways to go, but I think we just keep pushing through and let our voices be heard,
Absolutely. And so going back to the term plus size, you feel positive about it.
I do. I just think, look at the community of plus size women that we are surrounded with. Like so many amazing, successful women who have like really fought to have a place in the fashion industry or a place, to be created equal. I mean, I just think those women are incredible. And I'm like, thank you. Like I'm part of the plus community. When I first started being a plus size model, I remember I would be like, oh, I'm a plus size model. And then I remember people all the time would be like, drop the plus, Jamie. You don't need to say plus. And I was like, no, but I like the plus. Like, I like that I have the, like, it makes me different,
Oh my
So
gosh.
I don't know. I just, yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's interesting to hear you say that because I, also a plus size model, have a completely opposing opinion on that. And I feel like I feel like I'm really exposing myself here and my
Okay.
insecurities.
It's a comfort zone.
I feel like I have to, when I tell people I'm a model, I have to tell them that I'm a plus size model because I already like feel like this is so sad coming out of my mouth.
I know what you're going to say.
That if I don't say I'm plus size and I just say that I'm a model, they'll look at me and be like, you're a model, how is that possible? Like
I've also had that too. So it's funny because I was going to say that also because I have both where I'm like, drop the plus, I love the plus, but then there are some girls where I say I'm a plus size model and they're like, oh, and give me that look upset, just a model, and they give me that look and I'm like, how rude.
Right. Exactly.
But maybe it's just my own insecurities too. Maybe,
Yeah, honestly, I think that's what it is. And going back to our last conversation about goals for 2021, I think I'm going to start dropping it. Just to, first of all, to challenge myself.
Uh-huh.
And because I'm scared to do it, I feel like I should force myself to do it. Like, so we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
Yes.
But, plus size in general, though, I don't mind it. I really don't. I mean, I feel like like, again, I only use it when it comes to like clothing or my job. And I feel like it's useful for those things, especially in terms of shopping. As of right now, it's useful. Now, if the industry changes, maybe I won't have to use it, and that's fingers crossed. That's our goal. But for me, I don't find it like degrading. I don't find it like it doesn't make me feel less than. Like I don't feel anything about the word. You know, I've come to own it, and I guess because I'm proud of my accomplishments and what I've done. And honestly, I've not always been like this. It was a journey. It really has been.
Yes.
And I'm not talking like, oh, I've been working on it for a year. Like, I'm talking years. Years. And so for the 750 people out there that said that they felt negative about the term plus size, we hear you. We 100% hear you. But know that, like, it's not a bad term, and it doesn't make you less, and it doesn't make you, not worthy. And I mean, hey, that's why CoEdition's around, because we're serving plus size gals because we deserve it. We deserve beautiful clothes. We deserve fashion. We deserve style. So maybe like we'll circle back on this someday and, think about what maybe Jamie, we should think about what has helped us to come to terms with the term plus size.
Yeah.
And then, maybe have it be like homework for our followers or our customers to be like, hey, try this out for X amount of time and then come back and see how you feel. I feel like we should destigmatize it,
I agree.
So
I think when you break the word down, like if you have like plus and minus, plus is like more. So I'm like more wonderfulness, more like more beauty, more curves, more.
Oh my gosh.
More, right?
Yes.
So
I love that.
I was thinking about that today. I'm like, yes.
You are the most positive person. I love it so much. Okay, so what are your thoughts about versus plus size? I think we kind of touched on it quickly.
Yeah. Like we said, I do think more of hourglass, and maybe that's just my like so many years of that. But I do like the term. I mean, I think it's a positive term, and you think curvy, and you're like, yes, curvy, show those curves. Like,
yes. Yes. I also was thinking about this, like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm newly single, but I was thinking about like what they do on dating websites, and they have you describe your body, and it always goes from curvy to, I think it's a little bit extra, to overweight. And I'm like, okay, I could either put curvy or I could put a little bit extra, which I'm both. But I always end up going with curvy. I don't know. I feel like I think when I hear the word curvy, I just think beautiful, to be honest.
Me too.
I think
why not have that be the word instead of plus size,
Yeah, like curvy to me is feminine, it's soft, it's loving, it's beautiful. I love the word curvy. And honestly, I use them interchangeably. Someone said fluffy. I love that too. I use the words interchangeably. I'll be like, I'm a curve model, I'm a plus size model, like whatever I'm feeling for the day, to be honest. Okay, so do you wish brands would drop the term plus size when describing extended sizing? Also goes into the answers that I received about like what other terms they would use instead. Because again, we got some regarding body image, and then we got some regarding like clothing and brands. Now, I feel very strongly about this. There are so many brands out there that need to step up their game.
So many.
It is so incredibly frustrating because what is the average woman now? I forget. Is it 14, 16, or 16?
I think it's almost 16, 18, I think is what I
16,
actually
18.
looked it up the other day. Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. So that is like, why is the fashion industry, most of the fashion industry, cutting out half of their people that want to give them money for clothes?
Right.
It makes no sense.
It
It's
makes
like,
no sense on a business standpoint too, because isn't the whole point of being in business to make money? And
yes.
if I think it's 70% of American women are a size 14 to 18 is what I read. So, I mean, that's crazy.
And it's like, okay, do you want to stimulate the economy? Give us plus gal some clothes to buy, because trust me, that's like my favorite thing to do is to buy clothes.
We're ready.
We are ready.
Yes.
So in terms of like, you know, the big brand stores or even department stores that have separate sections for plus size, honestly, I kind of do hate it. It just annoys me.
Oh my gosh. I cannot even this summer, my boyfriend and I went to we'll say a big box store, and there was 3+ models up in the store, yet there was one rack of clothing for plus women, curvy women. That infuriating. And 3 models that I see all the time, very diverse in sizing, and then there was one rack of clothing. He's like, oh my gosh, is this what you go through when you have to try to like go into stores and find clothing? Like, he was like, I am so sorry, that is awful. And I was like, I know. So we went to another store and the same thing happened. And I'm like, I'm just gonna order online. But it was so hot out and I really needed biker shorts. So I was like, I really want to go and get biker shorts. Like, it's so hot. I want to exercise outside. But
oh, yeah. Girl, I feel you.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I know that a lot of the responses said that there should be all sizes, you know. And
100%.
And that would be so nice if you just see one rack and it's that one sweater, and then it goes from 00 on, you know,
all the way to 6X.
Exactly.
Like, why not? I don't understand it. So here are some of the answers that people gave about their thoughts of what else we should call plus size in terms of clothing. How about nothing? Put my clothes in with everyone else's.
Yes.
Don't other me. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Extended sizes or inclusive sizing. I really do like inclusive sizing. I like that term. Just put all the clothes together. We are all just people. Touche, sister. Though I do not have negativity towards the terminology plus size, I believe segregation of sizes causes it. That is so real. Yeah. I believe that too.
Yeah.
Because the process of having to, you're in a section looking for something and you're like, oh, none of this has they don't have my size here. So then you're like searching and you're like, well, where's the section with my size? And just having to go through that, like, is frustrating and annoying. And it's just, yes, I believe that having it separately does make people feel negative towards it.
Yeah.
And that's just not okay.
Yeah.
No label, just all sizes, the end, human size. Back to the human. While I don't love plus size, it does make it easier to search online for clothes that will work. And that's why I come back to the idea that it is helpful in some way in the way that we are dealing with shopping as plus size people right now. You know,
like right now it's really helpful, but I hope we get to that point where everything is on one rack, you know.
100%.
But definitely right now it's like, yeah, okay, I would rather not be at the store all day long looking through clothing. Oh, there's my size finally, one item, you know, instead go to that one rack.
Yes.
And at least for now, like, okay, good, but like, let's work on getting better at this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And that is very similar to what one of our followers said. I asked her, after this whole discussion, after the whole poll thing, she DM'd us. And I loved what she said so much. I asked her for permission to read it to you guys. Her name is, you can find her at Jessie on Instagram. It's Jessy. She is gorgeous and beautiful. And I love what she said. So this is just part of it. As outdated as the term may sound to some, she's talking about the term plus size, I need that separate identifier when searching a retailer's website, because unless all items come in all sizes, I cannot be bothered to search for the 4 items that fit me among 100 plus straight size items.
That is real.
Our time is just as valuable as the woman who is a size 4. And she's 100% right. And that's why, like, I don't mean to make this like a cliche thing to come and say afterwards, but that's why CoEdition was created. Because we only carry plus size. And you know what's crazy, Jamie? So this has happened a couple of times. I had a couple people reach out to me on social, and they'll like send me a style, like, I love your clothes so much. I love this style. I wish you carried normal sizes.
That happened to me today, actually.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. She's like, I don't understand how your sizing works. Like, I just see small, medium, because small is what, 14, and a medium, or yeah. Like, yeah. So, and I was like, no, we're all curvy. Like, everything is plus size. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love your size. So yes.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Well, these are people who are not plus size that want to shop our site.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's happened on 2 occasions. People who are not plus size, they're like, I wish you would carry straight sizes because I love your styles.
That's amazing.
And I mean, I love it because I'm like, heck yeah, we have some awesome stuff on CoEdition.
Yeah.
But then also I'm like very confused because I'm like, wait, like you can shop the entire world.
You have the pick of the litter.
Right. And like, I honestly don't feel like people who are not plus size, I don't think they understand maybe that like, this is all we got. I mean, besides CoEdition, there are a few others, but like, you know, CoEdition is the first of its kind, that we are all just plus. You can shop everything.
Right. I don't
and
know.
Isn't it like bizarre?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a compliment because all of our stuff is so fashion forward, and we do have amazing style and
pieces for sure
that we carry, but that's crazy. Yeah, you can shop anywhere and you're like, hey.
Right, exactly. And so yeah, it's just, I think that in terms of plus size, in regards to clothes, I think that at Jessie is 100% right when she says, unless a store carries all sizes, you're going to have that identifier. Otherwise, it is truly so hard. You know, like, besides CoEdition, I have one other store that is my favorite store. I will not say what it is, but it's a task to have to go through and I only really shop online. I hate shopping in store. I am an online shopper through and through. But it is a task to go through to the plus size section and then filter everything. Like, it's just like, oh my goodness. And then sometimes like smaller things end up in there. I'm like, wait, what are you doing to me?
That does happen.
So that's why I'm really, really glad that CoEdition is around, and that we have everything that we have. But I'm trying to think, like, if everything were a perfect world and all brands carried all sizes, what would we call ourselves? I guess we would have to carry all sizes then.
But I still think we could call ourselves curvy girls. I still think
Oh,
we could be curvy, but just, you know, beyond the rack, like the whole range of sizes beyond the rack. Because I
oh,
do
right.
love the curvy community and, you know.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But like if I were to describe CoEdition to someone,
Mm-hmm.
because right now, like if I describe CoEdition, I'm like, oh, we are a plus
Plus
size
size marketplace,
marketplace.
yeah.
How would we describe ourselves? If how would we describe ourselves if we maintained only being for plus, but we're dropping the plus?
That's hard. Yeah, because how would women know, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any ideas, I just like hypothetically, like I would just,
Normal.
am curious.
Yeah.
The clearance, normal. The thing is, like, what's normal?
Yeah.
You know? It,
It'd be
it would
just
just be
another
another
store.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that if that happened, if all brands got all sizes, which would be amazing, we would have to get all sizes too. Because we're inclusive. We love
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
But right now we love the plus size gal a little bit more. No, I'm joking. But like all jokes aside, there has been such a huge gap in the fashion industry and like such a small handful of places that we can shop
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like we need to exist.
Yeah. And my mom, I was talking to her, and she has been plus size or curvy most of her life. And she was telling me, she's like, when, like, within the last 5 years, that stores they've really, you know, you can get reasonable, sorry, I can't talk right now. You can get, like brands that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. But like she said, she used to, if she wanted something that was cute, fashion forward, she used to have to spend so much money to
Yeah.
find an outfit that would fit her, you know? And she's like, it's so nice that you have somewhere like CoEdition that you can shop, and it's affordable but cute and fashion forward and stylish, you know?
Yeah, I think we kind of brought something up along those lines when we did our live sale about the fat tax.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so if people who are watching don't know what the fat tax is, it's when companies will charge a higher, so they'll have a full extended sizing range, but they'll charge more for the plus sizes. So like the extra large will be $20
Right.
and the 1X will be
1X,
$25
yeah.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane to me. It's, oh, we could go into a whole thing about that
I know.
too. But your mom's totally right
Mm-hmm.
because I remember even back like when I was in high school, like the kind of like prom dresses that I could find,
Mm-hmm.
they were like sad compared to
I
the
wore one
ones.
with like an arm, a full length arm, because I couldn't find a cute one.
Oh my
And it was a
gosh.
mess, Ashley, because they
Oh
didn't have stuff.
no. You know,
In my
oh,
it was bad.
oh
But now it's
no.
so different. It is really different.
It's
So
very different. So my junior year, I actually designed my own dress because I was super into fashion growing up, like
I love
Teen
that.
Vogue. And the theater, the woman who did like created all the theater costumes at my high school, she made it for me. It was so sweet.
That is
And then I
so
think
sweet.
my senior year, and the thing is like back in high school, I was like maybe probably a 14.
Mm-hmm.
My senior year, I bought a bridesmaid dress from David's Bridal because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't really find anything that was like prom, you know. Anyway, things have definitely changed since then, and I am so thankful and so grateful for that. And that's why, like, you know, I think things have been really tough during this pandemic, and it's affected a lot of businesses
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of plus businesses. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but I mean, I feel like we have a lot of work to do, and we just need to continue to support the brands that we buy. And, you know, even if it's like posting a photo and giving a shout out or something like that goes such a long way.
Yeah, far.
Because, and also having conversations like this, because even though like I was a little bit nervous about this conversation just because there were so many people that had voiced their opinions, and like I was like reading them, and because I put the poll up, I was like, oh my God, they hate me. But no, I was like, no. They are allowed their opinion. Like, they are allowed to feel the way that they feel. And this is good. This opens up a dialogue. And that's what needs to happen, because unless us plus size, curvy, fluffy, thick gals express what we want and express what we want to see, there's never gonna be a change.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think that's why we've gotten as far as we have, because we're letting people know, hey, we're here. We want cute clothes. We want affordable clothes, you know?
Yes.
That's how we got CoEdition.
I would love to do a poll or like a question about what is something that you always wanted to wear, but never were like, you could never find it in your size.
That's really good.
Can you think of anything on the top of your head? It's okay if you can't.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, I for sure know. Because I look all the time. High boots. I have the thickest calves and the thickest ankles. And honestly, even if I was skinny, I would still have thick ankles because they run in my family. It's genetic. But I can never find, unless it's like, even some like wide calves don't fit me. So I feel like that's something that we should make better.
I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah. There's been so many times that I've had to model something and they're like, okay, put these boots on. And I'm like, I can't. My calves are thick.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go back and look at some of these comments, because we have some good ones. Okay. And oh my gosh, thank you so much for everyone that's watching and commenting. It's so sweet. Someone randomly asked favorite makeup.
I like Bobbi Brown.
So funny. We were just talking about that today. Okay, someone said, well, I love Bobbi, and my favorite, I have a lot of products from Hourglass, and not just because I used to work for Hourglass Cosmetics, but I genuinely like them. So, okay, someone said, I don't mind curvy, but I guess I don't mind plus size either, since it's been that way forever. Yeah, it's been that way for as long as I can remember.
Me too. Someone
says, I like curvy better. Someone says, plus size clothes have come a long way. Yes, they have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here.
Someone said thick is a cultural word, and I've heard that my whole life. That's true.
Interesting. I've heard that my whole life, and it is an uplifting term. I really like that. Curvy is more loving and is a big hug to us nowadays. I love those happy words. Aw. I agree with that. And then another one, going back to the word fat. Fat is not a good feeling word. Most people don't use that word fat as a compliment, and I agree. I think there are some people along their body positive journey that have been able to say that without having it affect them. And again, I applaud them. I hope maybe someday I'll get there. We'll see. And if I don't, that's okay too. I mean, it's okay if you never get there. It's totally fine. Yeah. Someone said there are just as many plus size women as other sizes, in my opinion. You're so right, because what did you say it was? Like 70%?
I think it's 70% are 14, or I think it was either 12 or 14 to 18. I think it's 14 to 18.
Yeah.
That's like the average size woman, you know.
It says, so much better now than it was 10 years ago. People are talking about it like you girls. Yes.
Yes.
They, someone says, love all the other merchandise they sell too. I think they're talking about CoEdition. Someone says, so the clearance budgetista, she is fabulous. I love her. If we eliminated plus size, there would probably be no CoEdition. We'd have to market to all women. Women, you're right. So she says, so I do like feeling like a unicorn. I love that. I love that. Yes. We have we have some comments about the fat tax, not fair. It's common for labels to charge more if you are over a size 16. Not okay. For the record, CoEdition does not do that. If you purchase a size 0X or if you purchase a size 6X, it is the same price.
Same price.
We do not change that. That is not okay. Not okay. I would never let that slide. Okay, so how do you ladies feel about brands who refused to market the curvy community until this year? Personally, I feel like it's too late, and I frankly do not want to give them my money. That's an incredible question. So I think they're definitely late to the game, but I think better late than never.
Yeah.
When it comes to a business, there's so many factors. You don't know if they've had this in the works for years to come, and they just maybe were financially able to do it now. There are just so many factors into bringing new product or extended sizing, I think, to a brand.
Yeah, I work with a company that just started carrying plus size about 2 years ago, and I was the first plus model they used. And she said it's only like 7% of her business right now, but it takes time to get that business. So for businesses, it is hard for them to like open that door up, but she said it will. She projects, because it is like starting to move faster, that it will be really successful.
Was that a smaller brand?
Yeah, they are smaller, smaller business, but they're pretty well known. But yeah,
okay,
definitely smaller. But I was excited that they started carrying plus, because it is an expense for businesses, but
yeah.
And they're an
awesome
brand, and so
oh my gosh, that's major. I think if like a smaller business does it, that's huge. I think maybe she's referring to like our bigger, very, very well-known stores. There's one, for instance, it's a workout brand. It's very, very popular, and they
refuse.
They refused for a very long time, and I just found out maybe a couple months ago they just extended their sizing to size 20.
Yeah.
And I kind of have the same reservations as the clearance budgetista does, because I was so like salty about that brand for so long that I was like, I'm not ever buying from them. But now, like, I'm like, okay, I'm really glad that they extended to size 20. It's not the greatest. They could have gone higher, because that's a whole other thing, like with about women, plus size women in fitness. Like, why would it, like, anyway, I think that I've had a change of heart since feeling this way of not wanting to purchase, because I'm like, okay, if we don't support, are we shooting ourselves in the foot?
Right.
But
I do try to support those brands that from the beginning we're like, okay, we're with you way more than I'm going to support that. Like, I might get one pair of, leggings, but yeah. Yes.
I 100% I definitely hear you, for sure. It's a slippery slope, I think. But I think that they should be applauded regardless for extending sizes, but they still have a long way to go. And that's for a lot of brands. And going back to like the smaller brands, the one that you were talking about, we have a lot of small brands.
A lot.
And when I started with CoEdition, so we carry over 100 brands. I probably knew when I started, we had around 90, and I probably knew like maybe 10. And I was shocked. I was like, if I wouldn't have known or found out about these brands through CoEdition, how would I ever have found them? Like
But
Love
for real,
Fool.
when I started working for CoEdition, I was like, I didn't even know this brand existed. Like, this is insane. And now I have all these options.
Right.
Not
There's
just like the 3 that I was going to, you know?
Exactly. There are so many amazing small brands. And then like when I'll do research on them and like to find out that they were like, it was created by like 2 sisters or 2 best friends, or by like a 3-generation family. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this so much.
I know. And some of them like give so much charity and things like that. When I've done this, I'm like, love you even more.
Yes. So I guess it's I guess I shouldn't say that it's harder for smaller brands, because we are proof. We have tons of small brands that have plus sizes, that they sell plus size.
That makes me think if the smaller brands can do it, then why can't the larger brands do it? You know what I mean? The ones that are making that real cash money.
Bingo. Yeah. Bingo. You totally nailed it. Okay, let's see what else we have before we wrap up here. Let's see. My mother commented, I'm totally going to ask her about this later. I used to shop at a plus size store called The Better Half. It was the only place in town where I could shop. I've never heard of that in my life.
Me neither.
The Better Half. I kind of like that, though.
It's a cute name.
Yeah, super, super cute. Okay. Well, I think we kind of hit all of the main comments. So let's wrap this up. I think that the word plus size is going to be ever evolving. This time next year, people are going to have different feelings about it. Just know, if you get anything out of this conversation, just know that if you are plus size, or if someone says that you're plus size, or if you shop plus size, whatever, it does not mean that you are any less than someone who is not plus size. You are just as worthy, and you are just as beautiful, and you are just as worthy of style and fashion and beautiful, high quality clothing. You don't settle. Because we got to fight for what we deserve. And if you need a cute outfit, come to Jamie and I, we will hook you up.
You deserve to look your best.
You deserve to look and feel your best.
Yes,
100%. And if you don't like the word plus size, that's okay. That's okay too. Call yourself curvy. Call yourself whatever makes you feel good. You know what? No one should be able to say anything about your body. Like, it's so personal. So you take on whatever word or whatever term that you love, and just stay true to that, Okay. Do you have any last parting words?
No, you did great. Yeah.
Oh, so did you.
Yes.
This is a team.
I know, it's so fun.
Well, we have decided that we are going to be doing On the Plus Side every week. Woohoo! So if you guys have any suggestions for topics, if you want us to, talk about anything, let us know. Again, just remember, we're just 2 curvy gals just trying to start a conversation and trying to get the ball rolling, and maybe get some good positive change out there for us. So thank you so much for joining me, Jamie.
Yes, thank you.
It's always such a pleasure. I adore you so much.
I think this was a really important conversation.
I think so too, and I hope that we can continue it. It's like we had so much to talk about, and I feel like we barely skimmed the surface, to be honest.
We've got more where that comes from.
Let's keep going. Let's keep turning pages, making waves until everyone is equal. So, okay, I will let you go.
Awesome.
And thank you for everyone who watched. It was such a pleasure. And we will see you soon.
Have a good night.
Mwah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.